It started with a single phone call. I was asleep, or at least I thought I was, when my phone buzzed loudly at 3:07 a.m. I groggily reached for it, thinking it was a wrong number or maybe a late-night text notification. But the screen was blank. No contact name, no number. Only the call log showed unknown caller. Curiosity overrode my sleepiness, and I answered. Silence. Just static. I laughed nervously, telling myself I was imagining it. Maybe it was a prank. Maybe it was nothing. I hung up and fell back asleep. That night, I woke again at 3:07 a.m. My phone rang. Same unknown number, same silence. By the third night, I was terrified. The calls weren't random. They were exactly at 3:07 a.m. And then the whispers started. I live alone in a small apartment in the city. It's nothing special. One bedroom, a cramped kitchen, and a living room barely big enough for a couch and TV. But it was mine. And for the first few weeks, it felt safe. The first call didn't worry me. The second night, slightly unnerving. By the third, I was dreading 3:07 a.m., pacing my apartment like a caged animal, hoping the call wouldn't come. Then on night 4, I heard a voice. It was faint, almost indistinguishable beneath the static, but I swear it knew my name. Emily, it whispered. My heart stopped. That wasn't a prank. That wasn't random. Someone, or something, was inside my life. The calls didn't change. 3:07 a.m., always the same, always from an unknown number. But with each night, the voice grew clearer. First, it whispered my name. Then it repeated details about my day. The mug I left on the counter, the book I had read, even the TV show I watched. By the end of the week, it was telling me things only I knew. Things I hadn't even spoken aloud. I stopped answering the calls, hoping it would go away. It didn't. Instead, the calls became accompanied by noises. Creaks in the floorboards, a faint scratching at the door, breathing. Sometimes I would wake and see shadows moving just out of the corner of my eye. But when I turned, nothing was there. Sleep became impossible. Every night I watched the clock approach 3:07 a.m. in dread. Every night the phone rang, and every night the whisper got closer. On the 8th night, I answered. Hello? I whispered, my voice trembling. There was silence, and then a low, distorted voice spoke. I'm already inside, it said. I dropped the phone. My heart raced so fast I thought it would explode. I ran to lock the doors, checked the windows, even looked under the bed. Nothing, but I couldn't ignore it. The voice knew I was alone. The voice knew everything. The next night I tried recording the call. Maybe I could capture proof. Maybe I could finally understand who or what this was. When I played it back, the static was gone. Clear as day, a whisper echoed through the recording. I'm watching you. You can't hide. The calls weren't the worst part. One night around 3:07 a.m., I woke to my bedroom door creaking open. I live alone. I always lock my door. My phone was on the bed, buzzing. I grabbed it and froze. On the screen, the caller ID had changed. It now displayed my own name, and then a shadow moved across the room. It was dark, barely distinguishable, but it had shape, a hunched, faceless figure standing near my dresser. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't move. The phone stopped buzzing. Silence. The figure vanished the moment I blinked, but the feeling remained, heavy, oppressive, watching. I couldn't stay. I left my apartment the next morning and spent the day at a cafe, hoping distance would help. But at 3:07 a.m., even there my phone rang. This time the voice was angrier, harsher. You can't escape me, it said. You'll always be mine. I looked around. No one. No one in the cafe even glanced at me. But I knew it wasn't imaginary. That night I tried something desperate. I turned off my phone, even removed the battery. Nothing. At exactly 3:07 a.m. I heard it. Not from the phone, from inside my apartment. Breathing, soft, slow, right outside my bedroom door. I grabbed a kitchen knife and opened the door slowly. Nothing. Just the hall. Quiet. too quiet. And then, the whispers returned, from every corner of the apartment all at once, louder than ever. "Emily, come to me." I ran to the living room and turned on every light. The shadows twisted unnaturally, dancing against the walls. And there, in the middle of the room, was my phone. It wasn't plugged in, it wasn't moving, but the screen lit up by itself, displaying a video recording. I hesitated, then pressed play. The footage showed my apartment from above, the perspective of someone hovering just outside the ceiling. And there I was, asleep, the same moment the call had first come in. And then, a hand reached down from the darkness, a pale, ghostly hand. And then a voice, crystal clear, whispered, "I've always been here." I screamed. The recording stopped. The phone flew across the room on its own. I don't remember what happened next, only that I left the apartment and never returned. Days later, I tried calling my landlord. He didn't answer. I looked up the building's history. One apartment had been abandoned for decades. One tenant had disappeared without a trace. At 3:07 a.m., according to police reports. I moved into a new apartment. Safe, or so I thought. But at exactly 3:07 a.m., my phone buzzes. Unknown caller. I don't answer anymore. But sometimes, when I lie awake, I hear the whisper, faint and chilling. "Emily, I'm still here." And I know it's true.